Now listen, it's the end of December and it's cold out. I know that you are not believing that I am jumping into the water at this time and in this place. Hi there. I'm Dorothy Wilhelm. It's almost Christmas. I'm so excited. And we're here on Swimming Upstream Radio Show. We are going to have a very special interview for women over 50 in a few minutes. But first, I want to introduce you to someone special. My daughter, Gina, who is a professional ventriloquist, wants to talk to you about a friend of hers. Her friend is called Al, and Al is Santa Claus's senior elf. He is 400 years old, but he has just become aware that job security is not all it used to be. I know you're going to love him. I know I do. Just watch. Oh, hi. Listen, don't tell anybody you saw me. I got this present the kids bought me, and they said I wasn't to open it till December 1st. But they didn't say I wasn't to shake it, so I've been shaking it a little to see if I could, just to see if I could tell what it was. And now I just got an email from my daughter saying, and don't shake it either. So if I've broken anything, it's going to be very, very hard to explain. But never mind. Christmas is here. Aren't you excited? I love Christmas. You never know what's going to happen. You're going to see old friends, wonderful things, just, day by day, and you cook great things. Well, I don't cook anymore. But the fact is, we're heading for a month of solid fun. Let me give you an idea, as they used to say. But it causes me to, I'm Dorothy Wilhelm. I always like you to know who I am, and I'd like to know who you are, too. But anyway, I remember back, in fact, we have this painting behind us that came from my husband's home, and it's about 100 years old. My mother-in-law told me that in the days when she was a young bride, which would have been in the 30s, that an affluent couple would have an oil painting commissioned to go over their fireplace. And if they were religious, as my family was, they had the Madonna painted. If they were not religious, they had a barnyard or a pasture or something like that. So I always feel that, I know who they were. And now another tradition in our family, of course, is always to get out the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer book. You know about that. And that one goes all the way back to 1939, was the first year that Rudolph was given away by Montgomery Ward. Robert May, of course, wrote the book. But do you know what? I was in line with all of those other people. Ward's gave away 24 million books. And do you know what? My mother was in line too. Now my mother, she was pretty cute, and it was pretty hard to know what she was going to do. So I looked over, I'm only about 8, and I look over at her with some horror as I see her climb onto Santa's lap. And there she sat happily, and she asked him, she said she had to have some nylon stockings. Well, of course, nylons in those days, the nylon went for parachute silk for the war effort. And so you couldn't get nylons. And Santa Claus looked at her in absolute horror and said to her, "Oh, my dear, Mrs. Santa Claus would never forgive me if I were to do something like that." So I just thought, when I saw my mom painting her legs, as they all did, and drawing a seam up the back with an eyebrow pencil, I bet that was a real Santa. Don't you think so? So anyway, we're going to have a little fun today, meeting some old friends and telling some old stories. I hope you'll like it. I know that I will. And just gather round. Here we go. Roll the credits, Brian. I ran into my daughter Gina the other day with our friend Al. That's short for Alabaster. And Alabaster, is Santa's senior elf. Now, Al is making the best of the days before the Christmas vacation, because once that starts, he's going to be really busy. So he's looking for a girl. Yes, he is. And let's just see what happens.
It was great. There was no traffic. It was wonderful.
Well, it was good of you to come all this way. How long did it take you to get here?
About an hour and a half.
And how long will it take you to get back?
It's probably about 3 hours.
That's what I think. Welcome,
Yeah.
welcome to the Great Northwest.
Woo!
Anyway, I don't like to be impolite or rude or anything, but I'm going to go right ahead with it. Sure. What you doing here, Al?
You've decided it's time to get out in the world.
I love how it takes both of you to think these things out. So why, since you seem to know, why does Al need to get out in the world?
Well, you've decided you're ready to date, isn't that right? That's right. I'm going to date.
Date what?
Girls.
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 Old girls?
Well, sure.
So what would you use, a senior dating app?
You know it.
And which one do you prefer?
Elf.com.
Elf.com. Now, see, I didn't know there was one of those, but I understand you've already tried this.
Yes, I went out on a date with a wonderful woman.
And it was good, everything went well.
She was amazing. I know I was amazed. See?
And are you going to see her again? Tell me a little bit about her.
Oh, she's wonderful. She's fun, and she's elegant, and she's got great health insurance. And I think she'd make a great host for this Keep Your Engine Running show.
Honey, I hate to tell you this, but this Keep Your Engine Running show is my show. I'm Dorothy Wilhelm.
Oh.
I always have to say that. It's contractually necessary. Whenever the name of the show comes up, I have to say, I'm Dorothy Wilhelm.
Got to follow the contract.
You got to always. So, why would you think that she could have my show?
Because she's so great.
And bring her around. I'd love to meet her.
Okay.
And we'll do some stuff on the air, because you're pretty cute. And we don't get to see enough of senior citizen puppets.
You don't. It's true.
So, sing us off, Al.
L is for the way you look at me. O is for the only one I see. V is very, very extraordinary.
Thank you.
E is, I think we must be at 30 seconds.
Yeah, I think so too. I love Al.
Oh, I love you.
I just love those puppets. Those are my grand puppets, It makes me very happy to have them. So anyway, now let's just have a little fun too, going through the years with. Well, let me share some of my Christmas memories with you. And if you have any that you want to share with me, I would just love to hear them. You can always reach me at dorothy@itsnevertoolate.com, just in case you should want to. And those Christmases sped by. And the first one, I remember Castle Air Force Base in Merced, California. Now, you've got these memories, too. And Sir, my dear husband, had just sort of discovered that I couldn't cook. Well, I couldn't. Well, I'd never cooked anything. And then all of a sudden, he's expecting me to cook something different every day. What do you think this is? I could do scalloped potatoes. But he was out in the field and came in for lunch at 10 o'clock at night. And so this one time, he came in, and I didn't know about Spam yet. And so I prepared him a soup with Spam, and he took a taste of it, and he said, "What is this?" And I said, "It's Campbell's vegetable soup with Spam." And he said, "I see. Never serve this to me again." You can see what it was like. It just wasn't an easy thing. And as the time went on, we learned to adjust. And I know you've done it too. Remember the year that my husband was in Korea, and our little boy was 5 then. I would wrap his dad's flight jacket around him at night when he went to bed, and wrap him up and say, "Now this is how Daddy will put his arms around you when he comes home." And we got through it. You do get through it. Every year is a different experience, though. The big thing, the Christmas I remember most, is the year we were still at Castle Air Force Base, and I was in the hospital expecting another baby. You will notice that's kind of the tenor of my life. There was always another baby coming. This baby wasn't expected to survive, and I was in bed all the time. I had to be. So my husband had taken the children and gone to his mother's so she could look after them, and I'm alone. And then this lady came into the ward in the hospital, and she said to me, "You're coming home with me." Maybe. I didn't know who she was, but she took me home to her house. Turned out her husband was my husband's top sergeant. And she kept me there all over the Christmas holidays and cooked and had the Christmas with her family and took care of their 4 dogs and never turned a hair. She was wonderful. And after it was all over and the baby's doing fine, thank you, we got orders for San Francisco. And I was appalled, because, not that I disliked San Francisco, but how was I now ever to show this wonderful woman how I appreciated what she'd done for me? And so I went to her house and I said, "You know, I'm so sorry, but I'm not going to be able to do anything for you." And she looked at me as if I were not quite bright, which, as you know, is something I've gotten used to over the years. And she said to me, "Well, of course you can't do it for me. You'll do it for somebody else." And that was a life changer for me. Do it for somebody else. Wonderful thing for Christmas. Wonderful thing for any time. And now I find that I'm in a changed situation again. Since I've got just a few of my dearest friends here, now I'm living with Parkinson's disease. And I tell everybody, because we're gonna fight through it. You have to do that. And here's the secret. I know that every one of you is fighting through something. Nevertheless, we're going to have a wonderful Christmas. We're going to see old friends. We're going to cook Campbell's soup with Spam. And we're going to do it all for somebody else. Wish you all a Merry Christmas. Let's join Gina and the Puppets with that happy song. Merry Christmas to you. Be over. Let's have one more song. How about if we all join in singing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas"?
I think that would be lovely.
Of course you do. We talked about it before the show.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. Good tidings for Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Figgy pudding! All want some figgy pudding. We all want some figgy pudding. We all want some figgy pudding. So bring it right here. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. We won't go until we get some. So bring some right here. Thank you and Merry Christmas.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's my kid. I didn't even know that Santa's elves had job maintenance control problems. And here's poor Al at 400 years old. It makes me feel like a springing julep. Well, it's time to go on with the show. And I'm very excited to introduce you to a very special couple of ladies and a new project. You know, we've talked before a little bit about our Terri Thal, Terri Thal and her We're 50 and Just Getting Started program. Now, Terri, I am glad to see you. I know you have brought a special guest today, Elizabeth Treacy. And are you all ready to go and tell us many interesting and exciting things?
We hope so.
Well, I hope so too.
We certainly are.
So we got an echo there, I think. Anyway.
I can't hear it. I'm wearing hearing aids, so everything echoes, everything bounces, everything's tinny.
So what are you going to be talking about today?
Well, we are, I'm Terri Thal, and I am well beyond 50. And what we're talking about is 50 and just getting started. I'm just getting started in this, and I hope you like it. Really excited about it. And what it's all about is that we can change our lives. We're not stuck. We can change ourselves. We can move forward. And what we're to do on this show is talk with women who've done it. So I am absolutely thrilled to introduce Elizabeth Treacy.
But before you do that, I'm going to step out of the pictures. Go ahead and take it away.
We will see you. We will see you before it ends. Elizabeth, I was so excited to meet you. I had really heard a lot about you, and I thought it was great. And we want to hear your story. I find your background kind of unusual. Dorothy says it isn't. She knows a lot of people like that. I don't. I was an American kid in Brooklyn. You were an American kid in Japan. Maybe some of our viewers have been part of what are called Army, Navy families. I never heard of them. I mean, I didn't really know anything about them. And I don't know how they moved around and coped. I think it must have been really difficult. And so to start with, and you changed careers. You've had many careers. But just to go back to Japan, how did you, what was it like? How old were you? What was it like to be a kid in Japan in what year?
Well, this is going way back. So I first went to Japan in 1961, and I was 9 years old. So you do the math. And I was well, we call them Army brats, Navy brats. I was a Navy brat. My father was a career officer in the Navy. So we traveled around every 3 years to some other place. And as a child, that was just the norm. I didn't think of it as unusual, having to go to a different place every 3 years and make new friends. But I was very fortunate to be able to have lived in Japan at that time. Japan was going through a lot of changes post-war, and it's not the Japan that you would encounter today. So I felt very fortunate to be able to experience that.
Did you live and play with Japanese kids? Did you feel that they regarded you as different from them? I mean, you must have regarded them as different from you.
Well, at 9 years old, first of all, we lived in a military housing, but we did not live on a base. So that meant we didn't have to go through a gate to get in and out. So we lived contiguously with the surrounding community, which was very unfortunate, because we got to wander around, in the wider community. my friends were basically people I went to elementary school with, but my two best friends were actually Japanese American. So I didn't, as a child, every encounter is just that this is what it is. It's normal. It's not unusual. I didn't see them as different from myself in any way.
When you and how long were you there?
At that time, I was there for 3 years. So I left when I was 12.
You were 12 years old. Wow. So when you came back to the United States, you lived on the West Coast?
I did, yes. California.
And you studied Japanese in college.
I did. My parents went back to Japan after my father retired, and he was an airline pilot. So I was able to go back and forth between California and Japan several times during that period. And that's when I decided, maybe I should study Japanese. I had a little bit of an introduction to it when I was younger, but now I felt like, well, this is the language I should be learning.
Did you study Japanese culture too, or did you really just do Japanese as a language and rely on your own experience for the culture? I
think I formally took Japanese lessons, but I've always been interested in Japanese culture. So I've studied tea ceremony. I remember going to kabuki plays when I was a kid. We had my mother had hired a housekeeper, Japanese housekeeper, and we became very close with her, and she would take us to kabuki plays and things like that. So, just through experience, I immersed myself in the culture.
Did you always plan to go back to Japan to work, or was it sort of a last minute decision? But you did it. After college?
After college, I went back to teach English in Japan. Something always kept pulling me back, to Japan. So kind of
are you going to get old? Do you plan to get old in Japan, or are you going to get old here in the United States?
Well, they have a much better healthcare system than we do. Accessible, I would say, but that's my children are half Japanese, so I still have a connection, and who knows, maybe that'll be the third transition.
Gee. But when you went back there and taught, you were teaching adults.
I was teaching adults.
What were they? Who were they? Were there women studying at that time, or was it all male? And
no, it was a cross section of adults who wanted to learn specifically English conversation. So, all Japanese children have English lessons in school, starting from middle school, but they want to be able to sit down and have a conversation, and that's a different kind of study. So that's what we did. We taught conversational skills to adults.
That's great. I mean, that's really interesting. I did Spanish in high school and in college and in graduate school. And when I graduated, I couldn't speak. I couldn't understand. I taught for a year in a high school in Manhattan. I couldn't understand a word the kids were saying. It was like no conversation. I read Don Quixote 3 times. Once in high school, once in college, once in graduate school. But I couldn't say, I couldn't understand a word the youngsters were saying.
Right. It's a different discipline or avenue.
Did you got married and you had one child while you were in Japan?
Yes.
Did you interact a lot with other mothers? Did you find that they were friendly, that their relationships to their families, either their husbands or their kids, were different, really very different from yours?
Well, I did have many Japanese young, mothers like myself. It was very important for me because not only was I in Japan and away from my family, but I had a infant, and your community is very important when you're raising children. So I did get to know many Japanese women in my neighborhood. We would go out every day and stand around and talk and about life and kids and all of that. And it was mainly women because actually it was all women, because at that time it was expected that a Japanese woman, when she had a child, that was the end of the career phase of her life, and she would be a stay-at-home mother.
Oh, so did you have Japanese women in your classes? I mean, students? Or were they all male? Were you students?
No, when I was teaching, that was a different area. I was teaching both women and men. But, not curiously, I'm just thinking about it right now, when I was teaching adults, I don't remember teaching a person who had a child. They were young adults, either studying in college or starting careers. So yeah.
So the expectations was so different from the ones you had, weren't they? I mean, you were working, you were traveling back and forth from country to country. You were living sort of independent.
At that time, this was when I was teaching there. This was the late 70s. So I was coming from this culture where the feminist movement was in full bloom.
Yep.
And going to a culture where the expectations for women were very similar to what it was like over here, maybe in the 50s,
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Did you find it difficult?
It wasn't difficult because it didn't really change me that much. It was just an observation that was interesting. And, I ended up staying at home with my children when they were young too. But there was always the, background expectation that once they were older, I would go back to work, which is not necessarily the case for Japanese women at that time. I think it's different now, though.
You came back to the United States, and I think you stayed home for a while, but then you got a job. You went out and you got a job with, I forgot.
My first job going back to work was at the Asian Art Museum in San Francisco.
Yeah. Did you look for that specifically because of your Japanese background, or did it just happen?
There was an opening, and I thought this was a perfect fit because, I still had that connection with Japan. And maybe that's one of the reasons why they hired me. I'm not sure. But I went to work there for 5 years, and that was a wonderful experience. I was a part-time worker. I was still, my children were still in school. So it was very convenient to work part-time and still be able to, pick up.
And then you made your first career change.
Yes. Through people I knew. I was an English major, so and a writer, and I knew the craft of editing, and so an opportunity came up for me to have a full-time job as a technical editor. And that was, I took it and did that for for many years after that, and really enjoyed it.
That must have been a really exciting move.
It was.
It was like from part-time work to full-time work, being a part-time mom to being a full-time worker.
Yes, and being financially independent was a big factor as well, because by that time I had separated from my partner, and I needed to be financially independent, and that gave me a way to do that, and it was very empowering to be able to be financially independent and also do something that I really love doing.
Why did you love editing?
Just the
I do, but I'm curious about why.
Well, there's two things to it. It's one is just being able to be that detailed oriented that you can pick out a mistake and correct it and make other people's copy look better, read better.
Are you one of those people like me who looks at something and spots the error?
Always.
Sometimes
to the annoyance of people. Sometimes to the annoyance of other people, yes.
Yep.
But also editing on another side of it is, you like I was a technical editor and then I was a medical editor. And so you're reading all day long, but you're reading material that is unfamiliar. So you have to do some research to find out what it is that you're reading. And consequently, you're always learning. You're always learning something new. So that was very satisfying too.
Did you also do rewriting? I mean, did you do the kind of editing? There's two kinds of editing, or three kinds of editing. There's copy editing, which is the red pencil thing,
right.
And correcting people's misspellings and their grammar things, and there's split infinitives, which nobody pays any attention to anymore. I do.
Yeah.
I unsplit split infinitives, and it drives people crazy. But there's also editing where you kind of rewrite something, or you tell the author to rewrite something.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, I've done both. I mean, mainly copy editing, but I've also done some we call it substantive editing.
Yeah.
So actually reworking and rearranging and making things flow better and the like.
And that's almost being a co-author sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
Without credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're a humble lot.
And you did that until you were how old?
I did that until I was in my late 60s, I guess around 70. I had my last job, it was a contract job. So it was a limited period of time. I worked 2 years at the Lawrence Berkeley National Laboratory.
Wow.
As a technical editor. And when that contract period ended, I had a period of time, about 6 months, where I was taking some time off and rethinking what I was going to do next.
Why? Were you not happy, or did you want to do something else, or were you thinking of retiring?
I didn't particularly want to do anything else, but I just needed a break, and thought, well, maybe I can do some writing or exploring, how to maybe write my story, for example, because I've always been interested in writing.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent some time just kind of taking a break and rethinking things. And that's when this whole new area that I'm working in now came about.
Well, you were considering two jobs, as I understand it.
Yes, at the end of this kind of period of just kind of taking the break, I had two opportunities. I had an opportunity to go to a tech company as an editor. And then I had this other opportunity that kind of just came out of left field. I have a friend who works in a classroom in a San Francisco high school with disabled students. And I was just having a conversation with her one day, and she said that they really needed people. And I said, do you think I could do it? And she said, of course you could do it. So I applied to that job. So there were two opportunities. The tech job was very lucrative. The school job, it's a school district, so they don't have a lot of money. But it was a paying job. And I just sort of went with my gut on it and decided to go work in the classroom.
And you love it.
And now I love it. It's been very enlightening, eye-opening, again, a learning experience. I'm always interested in continuously learning things, even at, an older age. You never stop learning, right? So, and it's a very different kind of world. I mean, as an editor, you're sitting in front of a computer reading all day.
Yeah.
And in this particular job, I'm working with students who are disabled. It's moderate to severe disabilities. And so I'm interacting with people all day long. It's a very different kind of milieu, and I'm really enjoying it.
You have to react constantly, don't you? Almost minute to minute. And it's a very I imagine it's a very physically active job.
Absolutely, yes. It's a classroom of young adults who need support after they graduate from high school, so 18 to 22. And we're taking them out into the community every day. Some are bound to wheelchairs and nonverbal. And it's, not only allowing them the opportunity to go out into the world, into the community, and be active in the community, but it's also, just making sure they're safe.
You light up when you talk about that.
Oh,
well, and while she's lighting, let me come on in. This is Dorothy Wilhelm, and I'm coming back. Hi. Because we neglected to tell Terri that she had to watch the clock.
Oh.
Yes, I realized. I realized that.
The party's over.
And we are about to wind up.
Well, let me do that. Elizabeth, delightful to hear your story, but what do you think if you met a friend or a new friend who was in the same situation you're in and going to wanting to make a change? What advice, what one thing might you ask or might you give her?
I would just say, well, obviously be open to new avenues, because you can continue to do the same thing over and over again, but just watch out for the unexpected, or consider that left field option that comes out of the blue, and be open to doing something different. Okay, so now Terri, you need to write that down somewhere. Our first guest hint is be open, and that's a good one. I enjoyed, Elizabeth, hearing about your life with the Navy. We were Army, and 6 years in Asia. Oh, really? Oh, okay. So, but not Japan. And so anyway, but so thank you so much for coming in, Terri. It just has been great. We are going to be interested and fascinated and delighted to see how your project goes.
Now, do you have a stirring wind-up closing sentence, no more than 8 words?
Yes, we want to hear from you. We want to hear from everybody. We want to know what you want. So write to us at, oh my God, I just lost it. 50 and just getting started at gmail.com, and give us your suggestions, including other people to interview.
And what would you like? What would you like to hear, and what would help? So
we would like to hear what you would like to learn about. We would like to hear what you want to know about. We would like to hear suggestions for themes. We
well,
would
the producer would like to close
suggestions
the show.
for people to interview.
Sure, that will be good. So anyway, we'll look forward to seeing you again, and we're going to be on our way out. This has been Swimming Upstream Radio Show. Merry Christmas to you all. Goodbye now.
Thank you.
Thank you.